Good evening. This video I want to show you quickly how dishonest Robert Breaker is. At the end of Acts, what he's dealing with, at the end of Acts, he begins talking about his great-great-grandfather, who was a Baptist minister, Southern Baptist minister, as he puts it. He has a blog on there, so he refers to it in the Confederate Baptist or something. In this tape, he's going to admit that many, many Southern Baptists did not think blacks had souls and would not preach to them. Now remember, this is the same guy giving you the guff, the nonsense that the South is all Christian and hospitable and genteel, and they had Christian virtues. Remember that, people. That's what he's been pulled, that line he's been giving you. And yet here he admits, and you get all the slaves, if they didn't like this master, they'd run to another master, and they try to pick a Christian master out. Frederick Douglass said the worst of the masters were the Christians, because they're hypocritical. Now, where'd they get the idea that blacks didn't have souls? These are Southern Baptists teaching this. That's not the words of my words. That's the word of Robert Breaker. Now listen. He's holding up a picture of his great-great-grandfather. These guys are enamored by that. They're just fascinated. Just Brian Dunn was the same thing. They're fascinated by the fact that they had some great-great-grandfather that was a preacher somewhere.
Maybe I look like him, maybe I don't, a little bit. I kind of see those jaws there. But this is my third great-grandfather here. Jacob Manley Canty Breaker, 1824 to 1894. Kind of has my beard a little bit. Thank God I'm not balding like him, but that's my third great-grandfather. I did a lot of study on him.
A lot of study on him.
He grew up in South Carolina and then in Key West, Florida. And he pastored some churches in South Carolina in the 1800s. This was before the Civil War. And he was a Southern Baptist. And in those days, there were a lot of Southern Baptists, a lot of them.
A lot of them. His emphasis, a lot of them.
That did not believe that black people had souls.
Did not believe black people had souls. This is the same guy giving you the guff, the line, that the South, the Confederacy, was some Christian haven. And they were the real Bible believers. And they took the Bible literally. Well, how are they taking the Bible literally if they don't think blacks had souls? And he's going to tell you now, they refuse to preach to him. Why would you preach to them if they don't have any souls? Remember the whole smoke he gave you, people. On about, well, yeah, a black man, if he didn't like this master, he'd go to another master. And usually he picked a Christian because, these Southern Baptists are teaching their congregations that black people don't have souls. This is the guy. This is his own words, people.
And so they would say, we don't preach to black people. We don't have anything to do with black people. We want nothing.
We don't have anything to do with black people. We have nothing to do with them. Yeah, but the war wasn't about slavery.
Nothing to do with people that are black.
There you go. But remember, this was later on, towards by 1840, 1860. This wasn't the South wasn't always like that. The South wasn't always like that because when cotton came, then slavery became hardened. Then they saw slavery as a positive good, and they had to rationalize it. They had to dehumanize the black. That's what went on. So this guy lying to you about how wonderful the South was in the pre-Confederate days. Now he admits, oh yeah, there were many, many Southern Baptists who were teaching that black people didn't even have souls. Then why'd they have to do that? Because you can't keep another Christian in bondage. That's why. They were integrating their churches, but slavery had to end it because it became a thing where you say, this is a fellow Christian. How can I keep him in bondage? This is a fellow human being. He has the right to life, liberty, and property. How can I keep him in bondage? They had to dehumanize him. And that's why Lincoln said slavery was bad both for the slave and the slave owner. But no, to him and his lies, he's telling you, oh no, the Confederacy. It's not about slavery. It was like the black was just they treated wonderfully back there. And the Christians, oh, they were all genteel and hospitable. And here, now you're telling me that, oh, they were in the churches teaching that blacks didn't have souls.
You don't even preach to them and things like that. And it's very, to me, it's very sad.
Yeah, it's sad. But that's, you didn't tell us that about your spiritual war on the blog. You're telling about how, oh, yeah, there are many Southern Baptists that one didn't believe blacks had souls. You didn't say anything about it. You said it was a spiritual war, and the Yankees didn't take their Bible literally. It doesn't seem like the Southern Baptists took their Bible too literally.
Very sad to hear stories like that. And so I was like, oh, I hope he wasn't like that. And began to study his life, and I got to travel around, see some of the churches that he pastored and some of the places that he was. And when the Civil War started, he was in Columbia, South Carolina. And actually before the Civil War, when the South seceded, when South Carolina seceded from the Union, they were working on the state capital, Columbia, and so they tried to find a place to meet, and they met at the First Baptist Church where he was the pastor. And they talked about seceding from the Union, from the wicked Lincoln, who was the despot, and who wanted...
I tell you one thing, Lincoln believed blacks had souls. That's one thing he believed.
To take money from them with an immoral tariff.
Immoral tariff, right. Passed legally. They were in the Senate. They had the Senate. They had the House. They had they had representation. There's nothing immoral about the Tariff Act. That's why you have elections. The next election you come in, you change it. You change what happens. You don't secede.
Well, anyway, I found out as I studied him that he wasn't like a lot of those Southern Baptists. He had a heart for black people, and
he wasn't a lot like those other Southern Baptists. He was the exception, people.
Won a lot of black people to the Lord. And he had a church, and in those days, well, the black people sat up in the balcony and the white people sat below, so they were divided and all that. But many churches, unfortunately, some of the pastors were just horrible racists. They wouldn't even let...
They were horrible racists. This is South people he's talking about. This is not me saying it. This is Robert Breaker.
Let black people come into their church.
No, the South was a bastion of Christianity, and they treated their slaves so well, and they evangelized them. This is not 2018, people. 2018.
I'm just so thankful for my third great grandfather, how he cared about black people. He would go out and he'd baptize them, and a lot of the people that he led to the Lord, probably more black people he led to the Lord than white people. So I think that's interesting. I appreciate him. He's an amazing guy. Now, there's some things that he believed that he was a little off on, but from what I gather, he seemed like an okay guy. At least he was preaching the gospel of Paul. He wanted a revision of the King James, so I don't appreciate that. So I don't agree with that on everything. But it's interesting to study his life and to see that he was not somebody that was anti-black like some people are today. And
some more people today? Oh, no, some people back in pre-Confederate days. In the South. Oh, no. Not today. Pre-Confederate days in the South. It's about like his own mouth, people. After giving you a whole line about how wonderful the South was, and he couldn't believe, he just all the Southern gentlemen and the Christian gentlemen, and Robert E. Lee and Andrew Jackson and Stonewall Jackson, and and he gives you this, and the black man would run to the Christian because he finds solace there, and that's this guy doesn't know. He can't keep his story straight. Now he admits that they were Baptist, and remember, because the unions were coming down, the union people, the abolitionists were coming down here, and and they didn't read the Bible correctly. They weren't literalists. The Southerners were literalists. They understood the King James Bible, so they're teaching in the churches that blacks have no souls. And he said, "You call him racist? You call him racist?" That's what they were. So let's stop and put this up. Amen. Thank you.